Hello my friends, welcome to my channel and welcome to another dupe video. Again, we're picking out the brand new palette from Natasha Denona. This is called the Zendo Palette and this just launched I think just like 2 days ago, and this is like a warm and cool tone palette together, inspired by simple but very elegant architecture, simplistic architecture. That's what she says. She said that she got the idea from like a garden, like just like a scenic, serene garden, and then a little bit of a architecture, you know, like something like a Japanese garden, you know, like a little bridge or some kind of fountain here and there. So that's kind of like the inspiration, she said. Now I do have the swatches here, and I also saw her Instagram stories, but I feel the colors are a little different from the swatches I saw on Instagram stories and then in the promo pics. So I'm going to stick with the promo pics because maybe on Instagram the lighting was a little warmer because everything looked very kind of warm. So I'm just gonna go stick with the Natasha Denona's promo pics. Now I did do the Circle Loco palette swatches and dupes. Wait, not the Circle Loco palette swatches of the dupes. So I used the Viseart Grande Pro 2 and 3 and also Viseart's Editorial Brights palette as swatches. I mean, if you have those two palettes, you are done. And for today, I'm again using Viseart's Grande Pro Volume 2 and 3. I did a look creating this, and this is not my own look. Natasha Denona, you did a look like this as like a promo to sell the palette and whatnot. So she did so many looks, like so many very pretty looks. I picked this because I felt I don't really do looks like this kind of like a smaller wing, and I love the color combination. So I think after the swatches and everything, stay put and check out how I achieved this makeup look all together. So definitely stay put for that. And then I'm going to be using Viseart Grande Pro Volume 2 and 3 as dupes, and I also going to be using this, just one or two colors from this Milieu palette. And I have Natasha Denona's Sunrise palette and Natasha Denona's Gold palette. Don't want to blind you, as like I did find like very close dupes. And also like a shout out to the Norvina's ABH palette. When I saw a lot of these peaches and golds, this was what this like popped in my mind. This seriously popped in my mind, I'm telling you. I thought this might be like a very close dupe to the warmer side of the palette. And also this one, the Norvina ABH Volume 3 palette also has like greens and like cooler, like a teal toned greens as well. So I thought we'll do that too. So I have the picture of the swatches and let's get started. First is like a brown. So this palette doesn't exactly have a lot of browns, I gotta say. So it's more like a terracotta lineup going on. So if you want a true brown, I would say go with Milieu palette. And this is like more cool toned, I think. So the one I see is kind of warmer, because there is another brown in the palette and that is more cooler. So that's why I'm saving that dark brown for like a cooler toned brown. So that is kind of what I see in the first swatch. But this is more warm tone. You can definitely warm it up with this brick brown color that you see here, or you could just use that itself. So yeah, like a brown shade. I just used this as a brown, a dark brown. Then they have like a gold color. For gold, hang on, let's do this. I really like this gold right here, but if you want it to be more a little bit bronzy, you could definitely mix these two together. It's a bronze color and you can mix these two together. Gonna be mixing those two together to give like a more of a toned down kind of a gold. I think that's exactly what that looks like. It's not a very yellow gold, but it's kind of a toned down gold. definitely has a little bit of bronze in it. And then there is like a camel color. There is no shortage for camel colors if you have a Viseart palette. There are so many. You can just pick this kind of on dark skin. It looks like a transition shade, so you could go with this. So that shade would just like literally disappear on my skin tone. So there's that. And then we have like a very interesting dark teal. Here in the promo pics, it kind of looks more like a silvery teal, but when Natasha Denona swatched it, it looked very, very dark. But I'm just gonna go with this. This is a very, very dark teal color. I'm going to, and now at the end of this row, you see this is like a highlighter shade. If I mix these two colors, it looks just, I would say spot on. I'm just gonna mix both colors and look at that. That's exactly what that color looks like. It looks very much like that. Or if you want it to be a little bit brighter, you can definitely mix it in with silver. That's what it looks like, I gotta say. Greenish, like a silvery shade, the metallic shade, and then comes a matte green. There's like a big, like a long row, a column for teal, and you have green. I would say just mix anything and you'll probably get. I'm just gonna use this teal to make it more brighter. So in the promo pics, it looks more brighter. So yeah, the dark teal itself kind of looks like a beautiful green color. Yeah, that's a matte color. Then there's like a very like a reddish orangish gold color. So let's see if we can get that. So I have a gold here, and then there's a red, and then there's also a little bit of orange. So I want to mix all these three together, or I could just mix the red and the orange, right? Now, I didn't tell you guys this disclaimer before I started because I told this in the Circo Locos dupe video. But guys, I know I'm mixing all of the colors. A lot of the colors are mixed, right? Just the browns and the transition shade and the green was not mixed. But the reason I mix it is because Viseart shadow quality is so incredible. It's not like, oh, I'm a makeup artist, or I'm like advanced in makeup skills, or I'm like I have intermediate makeup skills. No, anybody can mix these Viseart shadows and they work and blend seamlessly. They are for everybody. That's how like just flawless the formula is. It's just incredible, I'm telling you. These shadows are designed and created to be mixed and matched, so they will mix and they will not get muddy at all. They will not, I promise you. So I have very like basic makeup skills and it works beautifully for me. So please do not be afraid of mixing Viseart shadows because they work like wonder, I'm telling you. So that's why I didn't tell you, because I actually in my mind I explained all of this in the Circo Loco swatch video because I use this as a dupe, but just in case you're wondering. Now there is like an orange matte. So there's an orange here, and this entire row is like a terracotta. So I could probably use any of these shades. It doesn't look like a bright orange, so I'm just going to use like a more like a terracotta shade. That's a straightforward dupe. I didn't have to mix anything for that. And then we have a beautiful coral shade. This is where I don't have coral tones in the Viseart 3, Grande Pro Volume 3, but this one does not look like a coral at all, but it is actually. On the eyes, it's a beautiful rich color. Well, it's not exactly too rich, but it's not ashy at all. It's not ashy at all. It's like beautiful coral tones. And if I mix, hang on, let me show you what I did. If I mix these two colors together, I just mixed these two, this and this together, I get like a more beautiful coral shade, as you can see. In fact, these shadows mix even better when you use a brush. So if you see like kind of like a not that impressive mixing of shades, that's because I'm using a finger. You see how that coral shade just beautifully just formed. So coral is done, and then we have like a very dark black and teal. So I want to go in with this. I feel this is like a straightforward dupe, because when she swatched this shade on her stories, it just looked like gunmetal. It looked exactly like this, to be honest. Looked very gunmetal kind of. So that's a very dark shade. That's a straightforward dupe. And then this is a very interesting color. The next color is what I have on my lid. Now for that wing that you see in the crease, I used this color to create, and that orangish thing, that hot orange shade that you see is this color. I used this right there. And yeah. So this is actually so beautiful. The next shade is like, looks so ashy in the promo pics and doesn't look very good. In fact, on darker skin, it looks kind of like a very whitened yellow. But I am going to mix this shade and this very pale yellow. I'm telling you, it's a beautiful cabbage shade. Nobody calls this cabbage, but that's what came to mind when I put it on. Look at it. It's not ashy at all. It's like so true to color, and it mixes so beautifully. Look at that. It's so beautiful. It's just incredible, guys. I love this shade. And yeah, it went on so beautifully. You'll see. Stick around for the tutorial on this look, and you'll see how beautifully it just went on. It's no patches, nothing like that. It's like so patchy, nothing patchy. It just went on smoothly. So that's that cabbage shade, at least in my mind. And then there's like a plum, like a brownish red from what I see. So I'm going to be mixing in this brown. Or you do have like a straight up like bronze. Mixing these two might get that look. Or let's mix the brown and the red, and then I want also to mix the brown and the rose gold. Brown and the red, you get that. More like a reddish brown. And I think, yeah, something like that. This is kind of close to that look. But I want to also mix the brown and the rose gold. There's a rose gold shade here. I want to mix those two together and show you how it looks. I think it gives like, no, I don't think that's a very close. I think the brown and the red is more closer to what I see. Yeah, the brown and the red is more closer to what I see in the promo pics, to be honest. So yeah. And then there is a very pale, a coral shade. So we have a straight up coral shade. I think that's like a very close dupe. In fact, the one here in this palette is more of a duochrome. It's not too strong of a duochrome. You can see, I don't know if you can see the gold. It's not a very strong duochrome, but it's a beautiful coral shade. It's a warm pink. It's very pretty. So that is the color I have right there, just under the matte orange. Is the color I have right there. Beautiful coral color. And then there's like a very pale peachy brown. Again, there's a lot of peachy browns here in the top row. You can just pick any one you want. That's not even like a big deal, to be honest. I'm sure a lot of people have that already in their collection. And then what else do we have? It looks like a very pale champagne gold. I'm not sure what that color is exactly, to be honest. I'm just gonna go in with this like a dark, I don't know, like a taupey gold. Looks like a taupe gold. I don't know, like a silvery taupe. I don't know. What am I saying? Some kind of like a champagne kind of gold. So I don't know what that color is exactly. Like a silvery shade. And then finally we have that rich dark brown. Like in the beginning I said I picked a dark brown. It was very dark and very cool toned. I think this is like the perfect dupe for that. See, that's like a perfect dupe for that. Yeah, so those are the dupes for the Zendo palette that I have. I think the dupes are pretty spot on, guys. In fact, this one I'm so impressed. It's like so vibrant and it's just like amazing. What do you guys think of the dupes that I found? Oh, let's not stop here because I do have, I wanted to show the gold palette, which has that green and these two colors, and there's like a ton of gold to choose from. You know, there's this bronze gold. Let me just swatch the golds that I feel that might be closer to the golds that we see here. There are 3 different kinds of golds there. And hang on, I want to swatch this shade closer to this one, because this is like a dupe, you see? And then there's a teal, dark teal shade. Closer to that. So both are from the palette, and there are also lots of browns as well here, the transition shade. So that covers kind of the gold and the cool toned part of the Zendo palette. For the warm toned peachy shades, you gotta look for, I think this one is like the perfect shade palette for that. This is Sunrise palette. I'm telling you, I found so many dupes, so many. First of all, the shade Azalea is kind of like a coral shade. I think that's like a perfect dupe for this one, as you can see. This is also a kind of like a duochrome, warm pinkish shade. So that's that Azalea shade from Sunrise palette right there. And then we also have that red shade, but it's not very brown. This shade that we saw, this one, it's more red, I feel. This is more red, as you can see. And then we have the orange shade, matte orange, to go with this. And there's also the coral shade that I was talking about. Where is that? I swatched it somewhere. I think, where did he go, coral? I don't know. This coral shade that I was talking about is, I'm just gonna swatch it. Oh wait, this one is right here. I kind of darkened it with that color, but if you think about it, the shade here by itself, it's probably gonna look exactly like this. You see? So I think there are 1, 2, then 3, 4. Did we count this? Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then lots of golds here. So easily there are like 5 or 6 dupes from this palette itself. So I wanted to show that, and I wanted to definitely give a shout out to the Norvina. I'm not going to swatch like shade by shade from the Norvina Pro Pigment Palette 3, because there are a lot of peach tones. This palette itself is designed with peachy tones in mind. So as you can see, these peach toned colors, and there's also a lot of oranges and corals. There are like, I think 1, 2, 3. There are 3 orange shades. Like there are 2 straight up oranges, and then there's like an orangey coral shade. There's a yellow shade. There's many gold shades. Let me swatch the golds. Basically, I gotta say they all look the same, guys, on me. You see that they all look the same. And then there's also like an orangey shade right here. This was the color palette that first came to mind. This is very similar to this shade, that orangey shade that I was trying to create. This palette was the one that first came to mind when I first saw the Zendo palette. This is like, there's so many, and the mattes, there are so many peach tones, as you can see. And then there's also like orange. And then let me quickly swatch the teals, the teal toned greens. They're not exactly teal, but like tones of green with teal in it. These are lighter side for sure, but the ones here are very richer and very vampy, as you can see. So I don't know. But the warm tone side of the Zendo palette, if you have this, you are done. You are complete, I'm telling you. And And yeah, that was kind of all the swatches that I wanted to show you guys, and this was super easy, to be honest. This was super easy. I did the Circo Loco was a little bit of a you know, it was a little challenging, but this was so easy. But I did have a little bit of time. I had to practice this look a few times because I'm not used to creating this wing. But yeah, stick around and see how I created this makeup look and tell me if you like it. What do you guys think about the swatches? Like I said, I kind of forgot to give you guys a disclaimer about why I'm like so like, as a matter of fact, mixing colors with Viseart eyeshadows, because they are created and designed to be mixed. So they mix so easily, so flawlessly, and so effortlessly. It's not meant for people with like very high makeup skills or like very intermediate. This is for everybody. Viseart eyeshadows are so easy to use. Anybody can use it. That's why I kind of like, as a matter of fact, I just started mixing. I should have told you guys in the beginning, but these are meant to be mixed and used, and they just work like magic. So that's why I always bring up these shadows as a dupe. So yeah, and by the way, this is not meant to be as like a cost-effective dupe where you can save money. You can kind of save money if you can just stick to these, because you can mix the shades and everything. But yeah, instead of the Zendo palette, if you were to buy these two, the Grande Pro 2 and 3, it's going to be expensive. It's just I already have these palettes, so this video is more like, look what I found in my makeup collection, and look what you can do with these magical Viseart shadows. Or if you're thinking about Viseart shadows, you can buy these. These are so worth it. That kind of a video. So I hope this video was helpful to find dupes in your own collection as well. And yeah, definitely take a look at the tutorial of how to get this makeup look. And I will see you guys very soon. Bye-bye. Hey guys, let's get started on this eye. I did use the Viseart Volume 2 and 3 palettes to do this complete eye look. It's just like a winged kind of a blurry look going on. So let's get started. So I want to start off by using a transition shade. I'm using the Milieu palette. So I have my eye already prepped. I just used like a very quick drying base on the crease, as you can see, just to keep the crease dry and from creasing. So otherwise I just used like a eye primer pretty much. So I'm just going to use like a peach colored shadow there. I'm going to add also a tiny bit. I'm going to mix it up a little bit to give like a more of a peachy, darker peachy look. And yeah, something like that. It's more like a coral shade, if you will. It's more like a peachy and also has like a hint of pink as well. So now I'm going to be using this orange shade right here, because that palette kind of has something like that, like an orangey shade. I'm going to just be using it here in this curvature. And that peachy shade that we already have kind of blends it and makes it nice and yeah, corally, right? So that's what we have there. And then I'm going to be using like a, what is this called? From Eco Tools Accent Shadow Brush. It's like kind of flat, but it's not dense at all. So I'm going to be using that. Hang on, this had like a larger mirror, but it's kind of very bulky. So I'm going to be using this shadow brush and picking up this shade right here. I could go with that shade, but that is kind of darker. I want it to be more brighter. So I'm going to go in with that medium tone shade and just slowly kind of, not exactly cutting the crease, but kind of like drawing like a crease. And I don't want to wing it out too much. Here, I just stopped where my eyebrows stopped. So I'm just going to stop there. And slightly just right there. Just right there. Like that. Just like the tiniest wing. I'm just using this brush because I want it to look nice and like you know, blended. I plan on using a more precise brush to give a more like definition. You see, it's something like this. You see, this is more precise. This is liner smudge. I'm going to be using that brush to make the green nice and darker. That way, this side, this line that actually comes in contact with the orange is more blended, and then we can darken this green. Yeah, that's basically it. Now I'm going to go in with the same brush and mix two colors. Oh, great. Just nicked a shadow. Okay, I'm going to be mixing in this very pale, this shadow right here. Oh my gosh, it gets so washed out. I cannot believe it, how washed out it looks. But this shadow, very pale green, and this very pale yellow. Like, it creates like a cabbage color. Let me show you. Like this. You see that? It's like a cabbage, very pale yellow and green. So I'm just going to go in with that, mixing in both colors. And I'm just going to cover the area where the lid shade touches the crease. You know, like kind of like a blending. I don't want to blend it with a large brush because everything will just kind of like blend together. I want the colors to be nice and separated, and I want to see that line of demarcation, but I don't want it to be unblended. You see, now it's kind of blended there, but we will touch up on the darker green. So that's why I'm using this smaller brush. And now I'm going to go in with regular flat shader brush and pick up that color and just fill in the rest of the lids. Okay guys, I just kind of filled in, I took a teeny tiny break and just filled in my lids. So that's what it looks like. I'm not even dragging it all the way out. I just topped right there, just right there. And that kind of creates like a, you know, wing itself, just the tiniest bit. Now I want to go ahead and touch up that green again, that nice dark green, because it's kind of blurry with the lighter green and whatnot. It's kind of become blurry. Now it's, you see how defined that is? That's it. I think the look is pretty much done. That's my look. That's pretty much what I did on this side, but it's kind of blurry right now. I think it's kind of like this is more nice and fresh, but I think I want to go in and with a peachy color. There's a peachy metallic shade, more like a coral shade, and I want to use that right here in this curvature. As you can see, I use like a peachy shade right here with the volume to that. Hang on, yeah, that shade right there. It's like a coral shade, peachy coral shade. I want to use that to just like give like a illuminated effect, and it kind of matches in with that. You see that? It kind of matches in that matte shade too. And there is a coppery gold color in the palette, so I'm going to mix the yellow gold and the rose gold, these two together. I'm going to mix these two together and just use that as an inner corner highlighter. Right there. That's it. That's kind of what I was going for. Now I'm just gonna go and put just the tiniest bit of that eyeliner is a little bit crooked, so I'll probably correct that, and just a tiny bit of wing, and I'll be right back. Okay guys, I am back. I just did a little bit of kajal and that is it. I did not, and also I just put like one layer of mascara. I didn't want to overpower this look because I wanted to see, I'm really proud of this look. I gotta say, I was a little nervous when I got here. I wasn't sure if I would get this look right or not, but I actually like it. It's pretty good. And I'm going to be using Cover FX's Monochromatic Blush Duo in the shade Pink Dahlia. Everything is so washed out. I'm sorry about that. I'm just trying a new lighting. And yeah, I'm just trying things out. This is more of a pinky blush. So I thought it would kind of match. I'm just first going to go in with the matte blush part, and then I'm going to go in with the metallic part, metallic side of it, just to give like a soft glow. I'm really loving these blushes. When I use this, I don't have to think about what blush I want to use, what highlighter to go with it. Everything's all here. So yeah, then final step is, wait, not the final step, we still haven't put on lipstick. The next step is the Hourglass's powder. Just going to dust it all over, just to take that oiliness away. And that is it. For lips, I'm going to be using MAC's Love Me liquid lip color in the shade Coffee and Cigs. It's a beautiful plum brown color. It's just so effortless. It's amazing. It just looks so beautiful on dark skin. Look at that beautiful shade. It's slightly darker than my lower lip color, should I say. Because my upper lip is a different color from my lower lip. Yeah. Beautiful shade. So that is my finished look. Hope you guys like this look. Tell me if you like this look and how this look turned out. Will you be trying this look? Are you going to be buying the Natasha Denona Zendo palette? Or are you just going to make do with what you already have? Do you have the Viseart 2 and 3 palettes? Tell me if you have. You don't even need the Viseart 2 volume 2 palette. The 3, if you have, I think you can pretty much nail this look. So tell me what you think about the Viseart quality, the standards. Tell me everything. Tell me what you think, and give this video a thumbs up if you liked watching it, and also subscribe, and I will see you guys very soon. Bye bye.